Gareth, detoxed Spain, making lunch for our guests, and so I thought that I'd drop by and show you how we make our version of gazpacho. So I've got my ingredients here. I'm just going to get them ready. I've got here a large handful of parsley. So what I'm just going to do is just roughly chop that up. I don't want to chop it too small. Normally gazpacho is made with raw ingredients. I like to cook them a little bit because I find it takes the edge off and it gives it a nicer flavor. I'm gonna put my parsley in there. Got one large white onion. I'm gonna peel that quickly. Right, peeled my onions, and all I want to do is I just want to cut them into big chunks. So they don't have to be chopped. They just have to be chunked up. So you can see I'm just cutting them nice and big. Look at that. Throw that in there. I have a large red pepper. I'm just going to take the top off. Cut my red pepper into large chunks. I'm going to wash that in. I'm going to do the same with a yellow pepper. Take it and cut it into chunks. So I've got in here my parsley, my onion, my red and my yellow pepper. I'm gonna get 2 big cloves of garlic. So I've got here big cloves of garlic. Just gonna smash those, take the skin off, and then just gonna roughly chop that up, put that into my bowl. And I have here is 2 sticks of celery. There, did it. Got to slow down. Roughly chop those up. Chuck it in. Gonna get a lemon quickly. Just cut it in half. Just gonna squeeze the juice of 1 lemon in there. So that's that. Got some pepper. A good chunk of pepper. Just a little bit of salt. Gonna sprinkle about 1.5 teaspoons of salt in there. Just gonna give that a good mix. So you see everything here is nicely seasoned and mixed around. So that's the first part of the prep. We're gonna go over to the other side of the kitchen now. Nothing. I love celery and now it fell on the floor. On the other side of the kitchen, and what I want to do, pan roast the vegetables. You can put them in the oven and roast them in the oven. It's entirely up to you. But sometimes I just like to pan roast them. It's easier and it's quicker. Got a nice big frying pan. Gonna heat that up a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil in. Don't need too much olive oil for this at all. Just want the olive oil to get a little bit warm. So I've got my ingredients here, and I'm just gonna add those. I put half of them in to start with. So I'm just gonna put those in the frying pan, and then I'm just gonna pan fry them and sweat them off until they are soft and juicy. I don't want to cook them through too much because I still want them to have a little bit of that raw flavor. But I just find that if you don't cook the peppers and you don't cook the onions, when you put them in the gazpacho, there's kind of a bit of an aftertaste. And just let them cook in their own juices. It's only gonna take you about 10 minutes or so. So if you've been watching, you're probably sitting there thinking, but isn't a gazpacho a tomato-based soup? Yes, it is, but the way that we do ours is while my peppers are sweating down, I'm gonna get 3 large tomatoes and just cut them into large chunks. Look at these tomatoes, they're so beautiful from the market. We're so lucky to have such nice ingredients in this part of the world. Now the reason that we add the tomatoes in more towards the end is when I'm sweating those down, I don't want it to cook like a stew or a soup. So I'm only going to add these tomatoes in right towards the end. But while they are sweating down, I thought I'd just chop those up and get them ready, and make sure that you were actually watching and paying attention, that we weren't going to forget the tomatoes. Right, the veggies are coming along nicely now. They're starting to soften. If you find that it's getting a little dry, what you can do is just add a little bit of water. So for people that are concerned about oil and oil content, basically what we're doing is steam frying the vegetables. So you just use a little bit of water to steam fry the vegetables and get them nice and soft. Now that they're softening down a little bit, I'm going to take my tomato and put that in. And again, we just want it to sweat down. We don't. So I'm going to leave that there for a few minutes. Right, vegetables steam fried, nice and soft. We want to finish it off now. I have a really large cucumber. I don't need the whole cucumber. I only need a normal sized one. And I'm just going to peel it quickly. I want to start finishing everything off now. So I'm just going to take my cucumber, cut it into big chunks, put it in here. We're going to add in some of the saucy juices. So I have some balsamic vinegar, 50 ml of sulfuric vinegar, balsamic vinegar. I have some red wine vinegar. I'm going to put that in. Some freshly squeezed lemon juice and a little bit more olive oil. But we have a great ingredient that makes our gazpacho so popular. I'm going to take a small avocado. It's going to give it some nice creaminess, make it amazing and good. Going to bosh that into my blender, and then going to put that in. Going to come over to the other side of the kitchen, get my pan, look at that, and I'm going to pour some of those veggies into my blender and bosh that on, stick it on. Okay, so it's still warm now. I just want to taste it. Oh, it smells amazing. Oh, that's so good. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in it. A bit more pepper. And what I'm going to do is give it one more blitz, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge to cool down, because gazpacho nice and cold. And then I'll come back and serve it up for you. Right, back. Gazpacho is now chilled slightly in the fridge, but I want to start getting it ready for lunch. So I'm going to put it back in my blender, because I want to give it one last zhuzh to make it nice and smooth and creamy. But in the meantime, you'll remember that we had that cucumber that we cut in half. So I'm going to use that to dress it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel it and finely dice it. I'm going to do the same with the stick of celery. So while this is blending, I'm going to be doing that. Okay. So what I've done is I've taken my celery and I've just cut it into strips, and I've got my cucumber here, and I'm just gonna also cut it into strips. So you see there, I've got my cucumber cut into strips. And then what I've got over here is a little bit of fresh spinach. So I'll show you how I'm gonna chop those now. Right, so I've finished with my cucumber and celery. I'm just going to scoop them up, put them in a little bowl. I'm just going to take a little bit of lemon juice, squeeze that in, get a little bit of salt, season that. Pepper is over here. Right, I'm going to dish up my gazpacho. So I've got my bowl over here, I've got my gazpacho over here, I've got my spoon over here. Oh, that looks well yummy. Then we're going to finish it off, and I'll take some of my spinach, bosh that on top. Going to take some of my gumbali, sprinkle those around. I'm just going to get a little bit of olive oil and drizzle that on, and that is our gazpacho. Enjoy. It's amazing. You got to taste it. It's so nice, make it, okay?
And I got nothing to show, just coming is